application for admission to the organ loft for a better sight of the coronation are the right of the Abbey so to accrue, sirrah.
Sirrah need not, Dr. Spratt. You may be Dean of the Abbey, but I am in considerable station myself.
You are a keeper in mind of the instruments, sir, nothing more, and have not the right to collect any monies whatsoever. You are a mere organ blower.
Organ blower? I am composer in ordinary, organist, copyist, and person of considerable worth, a musician born and bred to the Chapel Royal, where my father was before me, and my uncle also. My life lived here, my work for this place.
You will pay back every penny, sirrah.
I shall not.
All right.
It's very cross.
Very good. In fact, that's a round of applause, Tom, I think. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Very good person.
Thank you, dear friends. Thank you.
Yes, very thirsty. That's actually your first completely serious acting role, is it?
Yes, apart from in the theatre, but
Yeah.
certainly on film, yes, definitely.
Now, is it irritating to be complimented on the fact that actually, judging by that little clip, you know, you're quite a good actor?
Well, thank you.
Because actually, that's really that's
Well,
where
yes,
you start,
I trained as an actor. I never trained as a singer. My career's a fluke.
Yeah.
That's, but then having said that, it's, what, 13 years, or, no, 10 years since I left drama school.
Right.
And I've never had an opportunity to do it. So to be given an opportunity in such a great arena was, because it's Robert Stevens' last film. The last thing.
Was it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. John Osborne's last screenplay.
And it's about
I'm not the third to go.
About the life of Purcell.
Yeah, the life of Henry Purcell. Also, we flash forward to Britain in the 1960s, which is when John Osborne was at the Royal Court. So it looks at society and the monarchy then, and you know his attitudes.
And are you in the modern bit as well?
Yeah,
or,
at the end, the actor who plays Simon Callow, who plays Charles II, who also is meant to be writing the play, who's meant to be John Osborne. We meet in in modern times, and I explain what my ethos was, what Purcell's driving force was.
Which was what?
Which is basically to forget what's happening in the world, in society. Please let me just do my art, and I'll make compromises depending. You know, if I want to work, so if whoever's in power, I'll do whatever I can. Just please let me make music. They don't want church music because the Catholics are no longer in. Great. I'll write musicals with Dryden.
I love the wig.
Yes, Jacqueline Smith on a bad hair day. I was described as. Yeah. But no, that was another thing, getting into the costume, and it was great.
You were well into it. Just tell us then what happened 10 years ago. You say you went to drama school, and you've ended up a singist instead of an actrist. So what happened? I
auditioned for a role in Pirates of Penzance, a musical for the chorus. Paul Nicholas was starring, and I ended up with the lead. And from there was seen to do Les Mis and Phantom and Aspects, and it just all...
But have you always been saying, as you've gone down that road, yeah, but can I please do a bit of... You know.
I figured that if I made a success doing the music, then I'd be offered leads in things like that. Okay. If you have a name, it's then far easier for you to, as long as I suppose you can still do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to escape you over Christmas, because you're also on Christmas Day, aren't you?
Yeah, that's on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve is when the...
That's right,
is the
wrong way
Christmas
round.
special, yeah.
Christmas Day is the Purcell. Christmas Eve is your singing, your day job, if you like.
Yeah, my real job, yeah.
I mean, we've got a clip of you, I hope we have, with Dusty Springfield.
Oh, great, I haven't seen this yet.
River wide and a baby. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far. Don't worry, baby. Just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry. 'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide.
Dusty, I listened to that all morning, actually. She's got such a smoky voice.
The woman has soul from her toes to her head. I've not seen that before. When we were rehearsing it, and she'd go, okay, tread on my line here, and then I'll come in with, she's just she's musical.
Fantastic.
Does she still live, is it in Holland? She lives in
she's
lives over here, doesn't she?
Yeah, she lives over
here.
here, sort of in Oxfordshire, I think.
Why
It's
doesn't
just
she
such
do
a
more?
shame.
Why don't we see more of her?
I mean, it's one of the few things I get cross about in terms of people's wasted talents, because she just does still sound so fantastic.
Yeah.
She should be right at the top of the tree.
She was one of my first choices for guests in the last series I did. Right. And we're going to come on, but then developed cancer, so breast cancer scare, so couldn't do it. So she's been through all that, had all her chemo and all the rest of it, and is back on 100% form, as you can see.
I'd love to. I mean, I'd love to see her in a. I think the ratings would be enormous if she had a special, like even a Saturday night show, you know, doing songs, because she's just got that quality that you know so few singers in this country have.
One of the biggest stars.
Absolutely.
And listen,
Anyway.
you were on the programme, I don't know, around about 3 years ago. You've been on since that as well, but I remember you telling us then about your girlfriend's
Angela.
sister-in-law,
About yeah.
Kathy McGann, and that she had ovarian cancer.
That's right.
And she has died a bit.
She died within 3 months. She was diagnosed in the March and died in July, just like that. So obviously our family was completely devastated, but we're not the kind of people who will do nothing about it. We started looking into it. I think I told you at the time, when we started looking at ovarian cancer and the statistics, we discovered it killed twice as many women as cervical cancer, cancer of the cervix.
Yeah.
And within the 5-year period, after diagnosis, more than the women who get breast cancer. Basically, more than any other gynecological disease.
It's a nasty one.
It's a silent
It's
killer.
a silent killer,
What we
yeah.
did is we set up this charity called ROC, the Research into Ovarian Cancer, to help get a blood test, very simple blood test, that will, when taken and studied, can see if there is traces of ovarian cancer in the early stages, because you catch it early enough, you can cure it.
That's the trouble. The ovaries can develop quite large tumours, can't they? Very large tumours, and the woman hasn't got
Not
a
a
clue.
thing.
Not
Well,
a
with
thing.
Angela, her only symptoms were she was bleeding heavily, she was a bit anemic and felt bloated, and just felt under the weather. She went for a blood transfusion. They then said, okay, it's probably a good idea. She was 42 or 43. Probably have a hysterectomy, you know, routine hysterectomy. Went in, opened her up, and the cancer had spread outside the ovaries, stage 4. What can you?
Too
There's
late.
nothing you can do.
Too late. Did she know it was too late?
We'd never told her, and you never give anybody no hope.
No.
So, you know, she knew that she had problems, and she went for all her, for radiotherapy and chemotherapy, everything.
Too late.
Yeah.
This blood test you're talking about, has it been developed, or
Well,
is it in the...
what they have it's a tumour marker. There are
Yeah.
2. It's CA125, and I can't remember the name of the other one off the top of my head. And what it is now, I was actually talking, I did the Comedy Awards, and I was talking to, I won't say her name, one of the ladies who was presenting, and about this, and she said, well, I had a problem with a cyst on my ovaries, and she went for the blood test. She said the trouble was it was so indefinite. It could throw up lots of false positives or false negatives.
Right.
So she had to end up having the laparoscopy. What we're doing, we've now got 120, it started 3 years ago with just 5,000 women. We now have 120,000 women in part of the research program who are being studied, and we're getting the blood test so that it is as accurate as it can possibly be. So then you have the follow-on tests, the ultrasounds, laparoscopies, whatever.
So I see. So what you're saying is at the moment it's still in development as a test.
Yeah,
It's still, you're still running
But we
trials
reckon
on it.
within 5 years.
You'll have a test which is good enough to give you a pretty good indication, and you're not wasting time having
Exactly.
laparoscopists and stuff on a false
Absolutely.
alarm or a...
That's right, that's
right.
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 And hopefully, eventually, it'll be a foolproof, you're in the first stages, we can do something about it.
Right.
And if you do that, you know...
Who's doing this work, and how much does it cost?
We're raising £1 million over 5 years. We've been running it for 2.5 years now. I just did a concert in London to raise some more money, and the song I've recorded, The Rose, it was a theme tune for the Lady Killers programme,
Right.
which Lynn Folds Woods asked us to do. And we chose to do this song. First of all, I actually think it's the nicest song I've recorded.
I heard you in rehearsal. It's lovely.
Thank you.
Very strong
And,
song.
and the reason when Angela died, we all we all had a rose bush. One was one was put on her grave, and the rest is in the family gardens. And the name of it is First Love. And John, Angela's husband, they're the only people that they were together since they were kids.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of connection with the rose.
So when does this single come out?
It came out last week.
Oh, right.
We hit number 41, which is disappointing for me. Nearly hit the top 40.
Yeah.
So if people could go, and as I say, all the money for it is going towards research into ovarian
Research,
cancer.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Part of the whole programme.
So it's a terrific song.
Oh,
Good.
thank
No,
you.
really,
Thank
honestly, I'm
you.
not just saying that, as people will judge for themselves later, because Michael's going to come back later on live to perform The Rose. It's a great song.
Certainly.
And a very, very good cause. Thanks a lot for coming in.
My pleasure.
We look forward to your Christmas specials
Yeah,
and all
it's
that.
nice.
And
It's a nice
I can't wait to see Purcell. 9 o'clock, Channel 4.
9 o'clock, Channel 4, yeah.
Christmas Day. Good
Yeah.
stuff. All right.
Cheers.
Nice to see you,
Nice
Michael.
to
See you
see you
later
again.
on.
I see.